Hey guys, how you doing today? I'm actually at my parents' house today. No, my wife didn't kick me out of the house. Lord knows she probably has good reason to, but I'm just here visiting. And so I thought I would send you an instructional video on how to access our new materials. We're starting a new unit. It's our first short story unit that we'll be doing, and it's called The Most Dangerous Game. So I'm kind of excited about some of the materials that I have for you guys. So I just want to share my screen and show you how to do them. Okay, so first off, uh, excuse me. Well, bless me. All right. Sorry about that. I'm back. So, of course, this is for first period, but it's the same material for all the other periods as well. So let's get into it. First off, TMDG Part 1 reference, The Most Dangerous Game Part 1. The Most Dangerous Game is a very long story, and to make it a little easier, a little more digestible, I'm breaking it up into smaller chunks. So this is Part 1. Now, what I mean by reference here is there's no assignment for you actually to do on this page, but once you turn in the assignment, I want you to have the story and the vocabulary here as a reference. So once you turn it in, you still have access to the story. Okay, so that's all that is. Now moving back to our home page, see where it says TMDG vocabulary. So this is some of the key vocabulary that you'll be looking at throughout. All right, and so I've included a few things that I wouldn't necessarily normally do on a regular list, but let's take a look at this one word, for example, receding. And it means becoming more distant. Now, receding is normally a verb, but the way it's used in The Most Dangerous Game is as an adjective. So we can say the tide is receding, and there it's acting as a verb. But then if we say the receding tide, then receding becomes an adjective that's changing the tide. So that's all that means. So anyway, go ahead and read through the word, the definition, etc. Now, one other thing, these words have different meanings, and these meanings are oftentimes related to one another, and so there's a slightly different meaning of the word depending on context. And the basic definition you get here is what it means in the context of the story where you read it. Okay, so that's vocabulary. And I'll try and provide a small vocabulary list for each part, so you always have reference to it. Okay, going back to the home page. Let's go ahead and look at the assignment. First off, it's due September 23rd, that's Wednesday. It's worth 10 points. So click on it. Now, if we were reading this together in class, we would read, we'd stop and discuss things every once in a while, but it's very difficult to do that online. So here's all the different tools that I provided for you guys to help you understand the story. First off is we have a simplified vocabulary list, and I'm going to put that on every single part just as a constant reminder. Now, let me highlight some of the links. Now, every once in a while when you're reading through the story, there'll be a word that you might not understand that's not on our vocabulary list. Now, just because it's not on the list doesn't mean you don't need to know it. And so what I've tried to do is anticipate some of the words that you might not know, and I provided links to that. So let's say you're reading through sentence 1 here, and it says, can't see it, remarked Rainsford, trying to peer through the dank tropical night that was palpable as it pressed its thick, warm blackness in upon the yacht. Now, maybe you don't know what palpable means. It's just not a word I hear many teenagers use. So when you see this capital V in the brackets in blue, that's a vocabulary link. If you take your cursor, click on that, it opens up a link to dictionary.com. Now, once you get to dictionary.com, it's going to give you a very full definition of the word, including the multiple senses of the word. All right, so what you really need to do is look at all that's here and figure out in context which one it most likely means. So in this case, palpable means capable of being touched or felt, tangible. So now if we go back to our doc, the night was palpable. It was tangible. You could feel it as it pressed its thick, warm blackness in upon the yacht. Okay, so that's how those vocabulary links work. Now, down here a little bit later, it talks about some Jaguar guns that are coming from Purdy's. Well, again, you know, Purdy's is kind of a specific reference. So click on that if you're interested. And I actually went to a Wikipedia source because Wikipedia, just of all the sources I looked at, this was the most easy to understand. And it's a gun making company in London, okay, London, England. So no big deal. That doesn't really change your understanding of the story, but if anyone is interested in something like that, it is there for you. Okay, now in green, just like we've done before, after every few paragraphs or when there's something that comes up that I think is important, I'll ask a question. So this question is based on what Rainsford and Whitney are talking about. What is a big game hunter? So you need to look in the context to figure out what that means. Now, let me give you guys a hint. Rainsford and Whitney. A lot of people think that Whitney is a woman and that Rainsford and Whitney are maybe on a trip together, they're dating or something like that, or they're married. So both of them are men, and this is their last names. It's Sanger Rainsford. We know his name from later on in the story, and then we never learn Whitney's first name. So we'll just call him Mr. Whitney, and they are hunting partners who are going on an expedition. Okay, Rainsford and Whitney. Okay, so clicking on down, or scrolling down, there's another vocabulary link. So if you know the words, you don't need that, but if you do, then you look at them. All right, more questions. Now, look here where it says receding with this 1 up above it. When you see words like this that are boldface print, I think I used a bigger font and it's got the superscript 1 on top of it. That refers back to our original vocabulary list. So receding means becoming more distant. Okay, so that's how you can link those words. Okay, now, this is the part I'm actually most excited about. So here, it's going to ask you a question, what is the conflict that Rainsford is experiencing and what type of conflict is it? Well, conflict is one of our plot terms, and I included a short video. So you take the cursor, click on the link. If you don't know what conflict is, or if you just want a reminder, or if you just missed me and you want to see me again, you can click on the link and it will take you to this video and a short video on what a conflict is. Okay, guys, and then of course, answer the questions. Now, guys, this is kind of a crazy week coming up for me, and maybe I'll let you know at some point what's going on, but I might have to miss a little bit this week. And so if I miss this week, I'll be providing these documents for you guys along with maybe a little instructional video so you can work very independently on reading and answering the questions. And I would still encourage you to reach out to me through email if you're stuck on anything. Even if I'm not available in class, I might be available outside of class. Okay, guys, that's about it. I hope you had a nice weekend, of course, and I hope you have a very successful week. All right, see ya.